Brownsville, Texas is a sister city to Matamoros, Mexico across the river. Its history dates to the origin of the Mexican-American War, which defines the border of the United States as it is today. Brownsville is slated to get 23 miles of border wall directly through the city, impacting both private and public property. Mayor Pat Ahumada is one of the leading voices against its construction.
I'm part of the Texas Border Coalition, which is the mayors from Brownsville to El Paso. We filed a lawsuit against the federal government um, based on the fact that we feel very strongly against the fence. We feel that this is not the solution. And we feel that the federal government should consider working with this natural boundary instead of building fence. All they care about is appeasing mid-America who have been sold an idea and a false sense of security that building a fence is going to secure America, which is the furthest thing from the truth. It's proven to be ineffective, very costly, and there are better alternatives by working with your geography as we're proposing here, using this mighty river that had been ignored for far too long. Yes, people crossed through here before, but why was that? It's because the federal government refused to invest in personnel to patrol the river. They ignored it for so long. Now that they invested and hired more boots on the ground, that's proven to be very effective. Apprehensions are down dramatically, which shows there's no need for a fence. Once you pay attention and try to address the problem by putting the proper solution to the problem, you will see results, as we have seen. I had somebody from the State Department fly here from Mexico over the river in a helicopter, and he looked at the river. He said, "Man, that's a beautiful river. It'd be a crime to fence it in." And it is. It is, because it's a natural boundary. It's something that can be used as an economic engine, tourist attraction, and it would be a crime to fence this river in and hide it from the people.
Further north in Roma, Texas, Mayor Rogel Ibarra will also contend with the border wall through his city. Roma overlooks the Mexican town of Miguel Alemán across the river.
The city of Roma will be getting a border wall, which is 5.7 miles of border wall, which is not linked together. It'll separate some points between the 5.7 miles. At the same time, we wonder, why the wall in Roma, and we already have a barrier. We have a barrier, which is the Rio Grande River, and you can see that we stand right close to the river, and the edge, the banks of the river towards the river, I want to say it's 50, 60 feet down towards the river. So we're assuming that we already have a border wall. We have a place that we don't need a wall. Of course, we're for homeland security, just like anybody else. We don't want anybody, coming through our borders and illegally. But at the same time, the government says that we need a wall. Let me go back to the 5.7 miles. 5.7 miles. If we go a 5 point that way, it's not very far. From here, it may be another 3 miles. And from here, another 3 miles, which is almost 6 miles, which is the city, it's part of the city of Roma, which is the Los Angeles sector. And from there on to Rio Grande City, we have another 15 miles, which does not have a border wall. From the 3 miles where I'm standing north, all the way to almost Webb County, there won't be a wall. We're talking close to 90 miles without a wall. So really, is it gonna work? I have my doubts as far as it working.
In the Texas State Legislature in Austin, Representative Eddie Lucio III represents the Rio Grande Valley. He disagrees with many of his peers on the border wall and suggests economic development as an alternative.
If you look right across, you see the Rio Grande. When you look right across is Mexico. Those folks who, a majority of which come here to do good things and, enjoy Texas, go to San Antonio, go to South Padre Island. I think they take offense to the approach we've taken to secure our borders. I don't think anyone has issues with securing our citizens, securing our country. But to do so in a way, and to hear, some of the politicians in Washington and even in our own state talk about security as an immigration issue and an issue that, we need to keep the Mexicans out of our country, is really hurtful. Not only to those folks who have come here for generations now to enjoy the Texas community, but also to those of us who are descendants of Mexico, like myself, who have been fourth, fifth generation Texans, beyond that, further generations, Americans. If I lived south of the border and I needed to provide for my family, no laws, no restrictions would keep me from being able to go to a place where there were opportunities, where I could send money home, where I can make sure my kids were fed and make sure they had a roof over their heads. So it's not that they are coming here because they're not respectful of our laws. They're coming here out of necessity. And so what we need to do is, instead of spending billions of dollars on a wall that has no meaning to it, take some of that money and invest in the border area on both sides.